At 80 years old, Moses is living as a fugitive in the harsh, scorching wilderness of Horeb. He is far removed from his royal upbringing in Egypt, surrounded by thousands of miles of barren rock. His daily routine is entirely mundane. He spends his days walking through the dust, moving large flocks of sheep and goats for his father-in-law, Jethro. Hundreds of miles away, the reality is entirely different. An empire is actively crushing his people. Brick by brick, the Israelites are dying under a brutal, systemic regime of slavery. Out here in the quiet isolation, nobody is looking for a savior. The largest rescue operation in human history begins completely unnoticed, in the middle of a forgotten wasteland. Then a physical impossibility breaks the monotony. Up on the mountain, a dry desert bush is engulfed in intense flames. But the branches aren't charring, the leaves are still green. It is roaring with heat, yet completely unconsumed. Moses doesn't run away. He actively decides to walk straight toward this bizarre contradiction to figure out why the wood refuses to turn to ash. As he gets close, the silence of the desert shatters. The creator of the universe speaks from inside the fire, calling him by name. Moses, Moses. The supernatural fire serves a specific purpose. It creates the necessary silence for God to begin a direct, personal conversation with a man who had been forgotten. The voice immediately stops him in his tracks. God commands Moses to take off his sandals, declaring that the ordinary dirt beneath his feet has become holy ground. The voice identifies itself as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The massive historical weight of that statement hits Moses instantly, and he immediately hides his face in sheer terror. God reveals that he is intimately aware of the situation back in Egypt. He has seen the misery. He has heard their cries, under the whips of their drivers, and he is deeply concerned about their suffering. And then comes the massive divine directive. God is drafting this elderly, exiled shepherd to march directly into the most powerful empire on earth and order Pharaoh to release the Israelites. Moses immediately panics at the thought. He has no massive army, absolutely no political influence, and a royal bounty on his head. He asks the most logical question: who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? The encounter reveals a massive disconnect. A voice from the fire is ordering a lone shepherd to dismantle the most powerful regime on the planet. Moses tries another defense. If he somehow makes it to the Israelites, and they demand proof of who sent him, what name is he supposed to give them? The answer he receives defines the identity of God forever. From the fire, the voice says, "I am who I am." On this timeline, finite existence is clear. Everything, people, mountains, empires, has a beginning and an end. But I am describes existence with no cause. God did not begin. He is the unshakable foundation of reality. Moses isn't being handed a physical weapon. He is being sent to confront the greatest army on earth with the direct backing of existence itself. God lays out a highly specific tactical plan. First, Moses must gather the elders of Israel and unify them with a singular promise. They are leaving Egypt for a spacious land flowing with milk and honey. Next, they are to walk straight into the nerve center of the Egyptian empire. They must stand before the king and demand a 3-day journey into the wilderness to offer sacrifices. God explicitly warns Moses that normal diplomacy will fail. The king of Egypt is unyielding, and he will absolutely refuse to let the slave labor force leave. This rejection is built into the strategy. God promises to counter the regime's stubbornness with overwhelming divine force, striking Egypt with undeniable wonders until Pharaoh is compelled to release them. By detailing the enemy's exact reactions ahead of time, God proves he isn't merely reacting to Pharaoh's moves. He is entirely in control of the timeline. The final phase of the plan secures a total reversal of fortune. God declares he will actively manipulate the attitudes of the Egyptians, making them view the Israelites favorably. The command is incredibly specific. Every Israelite woman is to go to her Egyptian neighbors and ask for their articles of silver, gold, and fine clothing, and the Egyptians will hand it over. The slaves will walk out of the country as conquerors, physically plundering the wealth of their abusers without lifting a single sword. No matter how deeply entrenched the oppression, God sees it, He hears the cries, and the great I Am will equip the most unlikely people to execute an impossible deliverance.